So Jeremy Corbyn has proposed something called quantitative easing for the people, and Yvette Cooper has immediately slapped him down saying it's economic nonsense. I'll explain it in a minute, but I think it's interesting because it brings to the surface a bigger debate that's going on in economics, which is basically about what happens if the current policies keeping the world afloat run out of steam. Quick recap on quantitative easing. Normally, if the economy slows down, what a central bank will do is cut interest rates, which boosts the supply of money or the ease of getting money. When you can't do that, because interest rates reach zero, as happened after Lehman Brothers crashed, what you have to do is print money. Now, printing money doesn't work directly. In the way they've done it in Britain and America and now Europe, it works like this. The return on savings becomes so low that people with savings have to stop buying government debt, which is a safe place to put your money, safe-ish, and move that money somewhere else like stocks, shares, property, gold, commodities, hedge funds, you name it. And that eventually trickles over into a boosted supply of money to invest in the economy and growth. Have you got that? So it's an indirect way of boosting growth by printing money. What Corbyn's calling for is a way of boosting growth by printing the money and then using it directly to stimulate demand. So he says, you print the money, and instead of all this moving around from one asset to the other, it just goes direct into infrastructure spending. The most radical form was once proposed by Ben Bernanke, who later became the chair of the US Federal Reserve, and he said you should simply take the money and drop it from a helicopter, later becoming known as Helicopter Ben. Now that means you just basically print money and you use it to stimulate demand. A still more radical form would be you print the money and you buy government debt with it and then you write off the debt completely. Now, clever people among you may have noticed something here. In all these radical versions of QE, what's being proposed is not simply print money and leave it in the sphere of money. It is print money and use it for purposes you would normally use taxes. That is, stimulate the economy, whether you drop it from a helicopter, spend it on railways, or spend it on writing off debt. In each case, what you're doing is you're taking monetary policy and you're using it to have a fiscal effect, that is, on the government's ability to pay for services or pay for public spending. In normal times, this is completely out of order. But, of course, these are not normal times. And though Corbyn sees people's QE as an easy way out of the problem of the huge deficit and debt that he would inherit as Labour Prime Minister, lots of mainstream economists and perfectly reasonable economists would see unorthodox quantitative easing, QE used to go from the monetary sphere to the fiscal sphere, as something you would probably have to do if, as some fear, the world economy takes another dip. So Corbyn, like the SNP during the Scottish referendum and like the Green Party in the British general election this year, has done something that most politicians don't want to do. He has politicised monetary policy, but we wouldn't be the first country in the world to politicise monetary policy if we did it. Thank you for sticking with this rather complicated discussion about QE. It makes many people want to take their head and bang it against a brick wall, but it is becoming, and I think will remain, a big issue across the world